Grandpa's era of Hollywood was filled with leading ladies who lit up the silver screen, bridging generations with their talent, beauty, and undeniable charm. From glamorous pinup icons to endearing sweethearts, these remarkable women captured hearts worldwide, providing escapist comfort during challenging times. Their timeless allure transcended decades, making them more than relics of the past. Each had a unique persona that resonated with audiences, fueling daydreams and sparking enduring fandom. Betty Grable. Betty Grable was more than just a name on a marquee. She was a symbol of hope and beauty for an entire generation, especially during the turbulent years of World War II. Her famous pin-up photo, featuring her smiling over her shoulder, adorned the lockers and barracks of countless American servicemen longing for a reminder of home. Her legs, famously insured for $1 million, were the talk of Hollywood and an emblem of her vivacious charm. Yet Betty's appeal went beyond mere physical attributes. She exuded a playful optimism that made people feel good in uncertain times. Rita Hayworth. When Rita Hayworth, with her trademark red hair and sultry demeanor, graced the silver screen, audiences found a magnetism that was impossible to ignore. Born Margarita Carmen Cancino, she transformed into one of Hollywood's most glamorous leading ladies through grit, dance talent, and a willingness to reinvent herself. Grandpa might have first fallen in love when he saw her in movies like Gilda, where her sensuality set a new standard for cinematic allure. Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe possessed a one-of-a-kind blend of innocence and allure that captured the collective imagination of a generation. With platinum blonde hair, a breathy voice, and a playful giggle, she brought a childlike wonder to adult sensuality. In films like Some Like It Hot and Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, her comedic timing sparkled, proving she was far from just a pretty face. Grandpa's heart likely skipped a beat when she sang Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend in her hot pink gown, or when that now iconic white dress fluttered over a subway grate. Jane Russell. Jane Russell burst onto the scene with an undeniable confidence, curvaceous figure, and a sultry contralto voice that made her a standout among Hollywood's Golden Age bombshells. Star of The Outlaw, a film notorious for pushing boundaries in 1943. She quickly developed a reputation as a brunette counterpart to the blonde icons of the era. Grandpa would have been dazzled not only by her figure, but also by her witty comebacks and self-assured attitude on screen. Paired memorably with Marilyn Monroe in Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, Russell's charisma matched her co-stars note for note, cementing her status as a show-stopping beauty. Veronica Lake. Veronica Lake's legendary peekaboo hairstyle became instantly iconic, making her a trendsetter in the 1940s and a hypnotic presence for anyone watching her films. Grandpa might have first encountered her in noir classics like This Gun for Hire or The Blue Dahlia, marveling at the cool sophistication she exuded. Beneath those cascading mysterious waves was a unique blend of girl-next-door sweetness and femme fatale undertones. Her petite stature and elfin features offered a refreshing contrast to the more statuesque beauties of the era. Ava Gardner. Ava Gardner was frequently described as having a rare, natural beauty that seemed almost otherworldly. She grew up in rural North Carolina, yet quickly became the epitome of Hollywood glamour. Grandpa might have first seen her in The Killers, where she played a femme fatale with an unmatched mystique. Known for her striking green eyes and raven hair, Ava commanded the screen with minimal effort. She didn't need theatrics to maintain attention. Her mere presence was enough. Lauren Bacall. Lauren Bacall epitomized cool sophistication from the moment she uttered her first lines opposite Humphrey Bogart in To Have and Have Not. Her low, sultry voice, often described as a smoky purr, captivated audiences and gave Grandpa a sudden urge to learn how to whistle, just as she famously instructed Bogey. Her beauty was a study in contrasts, classic Hollywood features framed by a bold, almost challenging stare that suggested she was nobody's damsel in distress. She radiated intelligence and independence, qualities that made her not just an object of affection, but also a figure of admiration. Ingrid Bergman. Ingrid Bergman's luminous screen presence combined a wholesome aura with a quiet depth that drew viewers in. From her iconic role in Casablanca, in which she brought a heartfelt longing to the character Ilse Lund, to her later performances in Spellbound and Notorious, Bergman's expressive eyes and sincere acting style were mesmerizing. Grandpa might have been especially entranced by the way she balanced an almost angelic beauty with hints of underlying complexity in her characters. Off-screen, she was known for her natural approach, refusing to pluck her eyebrows too thin or plaster on heavy makeup, allowing her genuine features to shine. Hedy Lamarr. Hedy Lamarr was often hailed as one of the most beautiful women ever to grace the silver screen. Her classic features, dark hair, striking eyes, and refined cheekbones, gave her a regal presence in films like Algiers and Samson and Delilah. But what truly set her apart was her remarkable intellect. Alongside her acting career, she co-invented a frequency-hopping system that laid the groundwork for modern Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. While Grandpa may have initially been drawn to her breathtaking glamour, the knowledge of her scientific genius only deepened his admiration. Lana Turner. Lana Turner's rise to fame had all the hallmarks of a classic Hollywood fairy tale. Spotted sipping a soda at a drugstore counter, she transitioned from everyday teen to the sweater girl, capturing America's imagination with her hourglass figure and fresh-faced allure. Grandpa, like so many young men, might have been mesmerized by her roles in films such as The Postman Always Rings Twice, where she combined an enticing innocence with a palpable undercurrent of danger. Gene Tierney. Gene Tierney possessed a refined elegance that seemed perfectly tailored for the golden age of film noir and period dramas alike. Her chiseled cheekbones, luminous eyes, and gently arching eyebrows created a face that was both unique and unforgettable. For Grandpa, her portrayal of the darkly entrancing femme fatale in Leave Her to Heaven may have been a turning point. Suddenly, beauty could be menacing, complicated, and impossibly appealing. Off-screen, Tierney's personal struggles with mental health and family tragedy lent her a poignant, real-life vulnerability that fans found deeply empathetic. Elizabeth Taylor. Elizabeth Taylor's violet eyes alone were enough to make hearts pound, an attribute so rare and captivating that fans and critics alike couldn't help but be entranced. She started as a child star in films like National Velvet, growing up under the Hollywood spotlight until she blossomed into a glamorous leading lady in blockbusters such as Cleopatra and Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. Grandpa would have been enchanted by her regal beauty, but he also might have followed her tumultuous personal life with equal fascination. Elizabeth was unafraid to love passionately, marrying multiple times and living life on her own terms. Sophia Loren. Sophia Loren's Mediterranean radiance and classic hourglass figure set her apart at a time when European actresses were capturing American hearts. Born in Rome, she brought an uninhibited warmth to roles in Two Women, for which she won an Oscar, and comedies like Houseboat opposite Cary Grant. Grandpa's fascination likely stemmed from her earthy sensuality. Loren wasn't the polished, ethereal blonde Hollywood often championed. She was robustly real, with a passionate spark shining through her expressive eyes and lilting accent. Maureen O'Hara. Maureen O'Hara embodied the fiery redhead archetype, whether she was portraying a feisty Irish lass or sparring on screen with John Wayne. Her strong-willed characters in films like The Quiet Man resonated with audiences who enjoyed seeing a woman as gutsy as she was gorgeous. Grandpa might have found it impossible to look away whenever O'Hara was on screen, thanks to her commanding presence and strikingly bright hair. Unlike some of her contemporaries whose elegance skewed toward the demure, Maureen radiated an unapologetic boldness. Grace Kelly. Grace Kelly's serene beauty earned her the epithet Hollywood royalty even before she actually became Princess of Monaco. Her cool, refined demeanor in Alfred Hitchcock classics like Rear Window and To Catch a Thief made her stand out in a sea of bombshells and femme fatales. Grandpa might have been drawn to her poised grace, which suggested a world of sophistication beyond the typical Hollywood glamour. Often clad in elegant gowns and perfectly styled hair, Kelly appeared every inch the polished debutante, and yet she exuded a warmth that shone through her aristocratic veneer. Debbie Reynolds. Debbie Reynolds epitomized the wholesome all-American sweetheart, bursting onto the scene with her role in Singin' in the Rain. With a vivacious smile and a bright, melodic voice, she brought youthful energy to every musical number and comedic scene she touched. Grandpa might have first fallen for her girl-next-door charm as she tapped alongside Gene Kelly, seemingly brimming with optimism. Off-screen, Reynolds was known for her resilience, both in her personal life and her career, traits that endeared her to fans who admired her genuine warmth. Julie Andrews. Julie Andrews, with her crystalline singing voice and pure-hearted demeanor, captured the collective imagination through legendary roles in Mary Poppins and The Sound of Music. Grandpa might have been swept away by her soprano soaring through A Spoonful of Sugar, or felt a rush of inspiration watching her frolic in the Austrian hills to Do Re Mi. Andrews brought an elegant grace to her performances, an innate warmth that made audiences believe in the magic of nannies with bottomless carpetbags and governesses who teach children to sing. Doris Day. Doris Day's honey-sweet voice and cheerful persona made her America's girl next door, a title Grandpa would likely endorse wholeheartedly. With an infectious smile and bright blonde locks, she lit up the screen in musicals like Calamity Jane and romantic comedies alongside leading men such as Rock Hudson. While some might have dismissed her as too wholesome, Day's genuine warmth and comedic timing proved she was more than a saccharine stereotype. Audrey Hepburn. Audrey Hepburn was known for her graceful elegance and endearing charm, a breath of fresh air in an era dominated by curvaceous Hollywood starlets. Her expressive eyes, pixie-like figure, and impeccable style in films like Breakfast at Tiffany's made her a global fashion icon. Off-screen, her humanitarian work for UNICEF showcased her compassionate heart, enhancing her already radiant appeal. Cyd Charisse. Cyd Charisse mesmerized audiences with her extraordinary dance talent, gliding across the screen alongside legends like Fred Astaire and Gene Kelly. Her impossibly long legs and dynamic performances in musicals such as Singin' in the Rain showcased an athletic grace that set hearts racing. Off the dance floor, she projected a poised confidence that left Grandpa enthralled. Her sophisticated allure combined with raw physicality made her an unforgettable presence. Judy Garland. Judy Garland held the world spellbound with her soulful voice and heartfelt performances, starting with her iconic role as Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. Grandpa likely fell for her big, expressive eyes and the hopeful vibrato that made Over the Rainbow unforgettable. She exuded vulnerability both on and off the screen, resonating with audiences who saw her as a symbol of resilience. Anne Margaret. Anne Margaret burst onto the scene with fiery red hair and a dynamic stage presence that electrified both film and music audiences. Often paired with Elvis Presley, she matched the King's energy in Viva Las Vegas, leaving Grandpa awestruck by her sexy, yet approachable allure. Her sultry dancing and vibrant voice made her a sensation, while her sweet off-screen demeanor hinted at deeper layers. Kim Novak. Kim Novak's cool, mysterious beauty made her Alfred Hitchcock's ideal muse in classics like Vertigo. With her platinum hair, subdued expressions, and air of understated vulnerability, she intrigued audiences seeking a break from typical Hollywood glamour. Grandpa might have been captivated by her ability to convey emotional depth behind those thoughtful eyes. Off-camera, she was a private figure, adding to her enigmatic appeal, Shirley MacLaine. Shirley MacLaine charmed her way into Grandpa's heart with a quirky grin and comedic timing that felt refreshingly real. From early roles in The Apartment to later turns in Steel Magnolias, she balanced humor with endearing vulnerability. Her open-minded spirit, marked by a fascination with reincarnation and spirituality, set her apart from more conventional starlets. Grandpa might have admired her fearless approach to life and willingness to embrace the unconventional. MacLaine's longevity in Hollywood, paired with her free-spirited persona, made her a crush for the ages. Eleanor Parker. Eleanor Parker was dubbed the Woman of 1,000 Faces for her ability to transform into vastly different roles. Whether playing a determined prison inmate in Caged or the elegant Baroness in The Sound of Music, she intrigued Grandpa with her versatility. Her red hair and refined features lent her a polished grace, while tackling complex characters revealed a steely resolve. Even when overshadowed by bigger names, Parker's performances lingered in audiences' minds. Angie Dickinson. Angie Dickinson quickly became a favorite with her sultry gaze and formidable on-screen presence, stealing scenes in films like Rio Bravo. Throughout her career, she embraced strong, confident female roles, culminating in her iconic turn as Sergeant Pepper Anderson in Police Woman. Grandpa admired her blend of femininity and toughness, finding her equally alluring in glamorous gowns or a police uniform. Beyond the physical appeal, Dickinson's down-to-earth persona and quick wit made fans feel at ease. Natalie Wood. From Miracle on 34th Street child star to teenage rebel opposite James Dean, Natalie Wood blossomed before Grandpa's eyes. Her petite figure and expressive brown eyes conveyed honesty and warmth, making audiences root for her in films like West Side Story. Off-screen, her vulnerability and quiet determination added to her charm. Grandpa likely found her romantic roles endearing, wishing to protect her tender on-screen persona. Janet Leigh. Janet Leigh became a Hollywood sensation with girl-next-door charm and delicate beauty, culminating in that iconic shower scene in Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. Grandpa admired her for a warmth that seemed genuine, balanced by the willingness to take daring roles. Her range spanned from light-hearted comedies to intense thrillers, demonstrating surprising depth. Off-screen, she was the loving mother to Jamie Lee Curtis, further endearing her to many. Marilyn Maxwell. Marilyn Maxwell combined a bright, accessible beauty with a comedic edge, frequently performing for troops alongside Bob Hope during World War II and the Korean War. Grandpa may have enjoyed her playful banter and the camaraderie she fostered with soldiers overseas. Her soprano singing voice and lively presence enlivened musical comedies, providing a comforting escape. Unlike some polished Hollywood stars, she exuded a down-to-earth personality. Claudette Colbert. Claudette Colbert, with her heart-shaped face and spirited charm, left an indelible mark in It Happened One Night. Grandpa might have been smitten by her radiant smile and the mischievous spark in her eyes. Equally at ease in screwball comedies and thoughtful dramas, she won an Oscar and navigated Hollywood with a refined confidence. Her French roots added an intriguing layer to her otherwise quintessentially American screen persona. Carole Lombard. Carole Lombard was hailed as the screwball comedy queen, delivering zany humor with impeccable timing. Grandpa likely loved her playful banter and the glow in her eyes, which shone brightly in comedies like My Man Godfrey. Off-screen, her marriage to Clark Gable, Hollywood's reigning king, added an extra dash of star power. Lombard's fearless comedic energy and open-hearted spirit broke free from demure stereotypes. Tippi Hedren. Tippi Hedren's poised, icy blonde look became Alfred Hitchcock's new obsession in The Birds and Marnie. Grandpa probably admired her calm resolve, especially when flocks of menacing birds swarmed her on screen. Off-camera, she showed a steely backbone, enduring tough working conditions and Hitchcock's controlling nature. Hedren's cool silhouette and reserved demeanor conveyed a mysterious elegance that intrigued audiences. Leslie Caron. Leslie Caron's ballet training informed her ethereal grace in musicals like An American in Paris and Gigi. Grandpa adored her French accent and buoyant innocence, which could quickly transition into a poised elegance during complex dance numbers. Her petite frame and wide-eyed curiosity lent a sense of wonder to every performance. She held her own alongside icons like Gene Kelly, earning high praise. Karen's airy lightness epitomized post-war optimism, and her unique blend of continental charm and genuine warmth made her an enduring silver screen enchantress. Yvonne De Carlo. Yvonne De Carlo dazzled early on in Technicolor epics, captivating Grandpa with her exotic allure in films like Salome, where she danced. She then showed comedic flair as Lily Munster, transforming into a quirky, endearing matriarch. Whether swinging a sword in swashbucklers or playing a monster mom, De Carlo's striking dark hair and bright eyes made her unforgettable. She fused self-assured poise with an easy sense of humor, bridging the gap between classic Hollywood glamour and family-friendly television. Mamie Van Doren. Mamie Van Doren formed part of the platinum blonde trifecta with Marilyn Monroe and Jayne Mansfield, embodying 1950s sex appeal. Grandpa might have spotted her in teen-driven flicks like High School Confidential, drawn by her curvaceous figure and flirtatious charm. She embraced her bombshell persona with a rebellious spirit, willing to push boundaries and court controversy. Though never as mainstream as Monroe, Van Doren's candid confidence and boldness gave her a distinctive appeal. Jayne Mansfield. Jayne Mansfield was the vivacious blonde who turned heads as a self-proclaimed rival to Marilyn Monroe, flaunting her hourglass curves and bubbly persona. Grandpa may have delighted in her witty comedic approach, often shown in B-movies and publicity stunts galore. Mansfield reveled in the spotlight, riding around in a pink Cadillac and throwing outrageous parties. Beyond the antics, she was also a devoted mother and a canny self-promoter. Dorothy Dandridge. Dorothy Dandridge made history as the first African-American nominated for a Best Actress Oscar in Carmen Jones, enchanting Grandpa with her heartfelt vocals and poised beauty. She balanced a captivating on-screen boldness with deep emotional resonance, overcoming racism in a segregated Hollywood. Off-screen, Dandridge faced personal struggles that underlined her remarkable resilience. Rita Moreno. Rita Moreno danced and sang her way into Grandpa's heart as the fiery Anita in West Side Story, a role that won her an Oscar. Her electric energy and fierce personality were unforgettable, breaking stereotypes that often confined Latina actresses. Over time, Moreno achieved the coveted EGOT status, an extraordinary testament to her talents. Off-screen, she tackled issues of representation with a determined voice, broadening opportunities for future generations. Ginger Rogers. Ginger Rogers famously did everything Fred Astaire did, but backward and in heels, an achievement Grandpa definitely admired. Their graceful routines and classics like Top Hat defined Hollywood's golden era musicals. Off-screen, Rogers demonstrated range beyond dance, succeeding in comedic and dramatic roles, refusing to be pigeonholed. Her bubbly smile, sparkling eyes, and down-to-earth demeanor made her both glamorous and relatable. Olivia de Havilland. Olivia de Havilland's regal bearing and exquisite features captured attention in Gone with the Wind, where she portrayed gentle Melanie Hamilton. Grandpa likely admired her grace under pressure opposite more flamboyant co-stars. She also made waves in Swashbucklers with Errol Flynn, adding spark to adventurous roles. Off-screen, de Havilland courageously challenged Hollywood's restrictive contracts, forging new legal paths for actors' rights. Paulette Goddard. Paulette Goddard shone in Charlie Chaplin classics like Modern Times and The Great Dictator, her bright smile and impish charm lighting up the screen. Grandpa might have fondly remembered her comedic timing, showcasing a joyful spunk that could counterbalance Chaplin's iconic tramp. She also succeeded in dramatic roles, proving she wasn't confined to silent-era slapstick. Off-screen, her rumored marriage to Chaplin intrigued fans and tabloids. Esther Williams. Esther Williams brought swimming pools to the silver screen, earning nicknames like the $1 Million Mermaid. Grandpa likely loved watching her synchronized swimming extravaganzas in Technicolor musicals, marveling at her athletic grace. A former competitive swimmer, Williams combined wholesome beauty with unstoppable drive. Beyond the pool, she promoted fitness, inspiring health-conscious trends. Her warm smile and polished diving routines added a splash of novelty to Hollywood's song and dance realm. Marlene Dietrich. Marlene Dietrich's smoky voice, half-lidded eyes, and daring outfits set her apart in early Hollywood. Grandpa might have heard her purring, "Falling in Love Again" in The Blue Angel, instantly drawn to her androgynous style. She broke convention by wearing tuxedos off-screen, forging a mystique that transcended passing trends. Dietrich's work entertaining Allied troops in World War II further cemented her heroic glamour. Joan Crawford. Joan Crawford transformed herself from a flapper-era chorus girl into a formidable Hollywood powerhouse. Grandpa might have recalled her dramatic eyebrows, angular cheeks, and piercing stare in classics like Mildred Pierce. She poured steely determination into her career, refusing to be sidelined by changing fashions. Off-screen, Crawford was known for meticulous self-presentation, and an iron-willed will, traits that fueled both success and scandal. Bette Davis. Bette Davis's commanding presence and uncompromising talent revolutionized the roles available to women in film. Grandpa was likely intrigued by her piercing eyes and the offbeat magnetism that burned through performances like Jezebel or All About Eve. She famously fought with studio heads to escape limiting contracts, paving the way for more nuanced female characters. Though she wasn't a typical Hollywood bombshell, her force of will drew attention like few others. Jean Simmons. Jean Simmons was the British Rose whose refined accent and gentle smile graced everything from historical epics like Spartacus to musicals like Guys and Dolls. Grandpa appreciated her combination of graceful poise and subtle emotional intensity, which shone across varying genres. She kept her natural brunette locks in an industry enamored with bombshell blondes, further distinguishing her look. Despite playing demure characters, Simmons conveyed self-assured intelligence and depth. Joanne Woodward. Joanne Woodward radiated intelligence and warm sincerity, capturing Grandpa's respect with roles like The Three Faces of Eve, which won her an Oscar. Known for her natural beauty and low-key style, she offered a refreshing contrast to overt bombshell glamour. Off-screen, her high-profile marriage to Paul Newman fascinated fans. Together, they formed one of Hollywood's legendary love stories. Mitzi Gaynor. Mitzi Gaynor's boundless energy lit up musicals such as South Pacific, inviting Grandpa to hum along to I'm Gonna Wash That Man Right Out of My Hair. Her polished dance moves and bright stage presence showcased an athleticism reminiscent of Gene Kelly's partners. Gaynor radiated optimism, her broad smile and playful spirit forging a friendly rapport with viewers. Offstage, she was known for her tireless work ethic and engaging personality. Angela Lansbury. Angela Lansbury first garnered acclaim in haunting roles like Gaslight and The Picture of Dorian Gray, radiating poise and intelligence. Grandpa appreciated her polished British accent and subtle expressiveness. She could convey menace with just a raised brow. Over decades, Lansbury showcased versatility in Broadway musicals, Family-Friendly Fare, and of course, Murder, She Wrote. Off-screen, she was beloved for her kindness and steady professionalism. Janice Page. Janice Page made her mark in big band-era musicals and Broadway shows, enchanting Grandpa with a lively soprano and easygoing charm. She stood tall among leading men, bringing a bright energy to films such as Romance on the High Seas. While not as universally known as some peers, her seamless blend of comedic timing and musical flair won dedicated fans. Later, she transitioned to television, maintaining her poised magnetism. Barbara Stanwyck. Barbara Stanwyck's piercing wit and no-nonsense demeanor made her a standout in genres spanning screwball comedy to film noir. Grandpa likely found her irresistible in Double Indemnity, where her smoky gaze and sly confidence stole scenes. Her voice carried a hint of steel, matching the tough heroines she often portrayed. Off-screen, Stanwyck was commended for her unwavering work ethic and generosity toward colleagues. Dolores Del Rio. Dolores Del Rio was one of Hollywood's first major Latina stars, captivating audiences in silent films and beyond. Grandpa may have been enthralled by her polished manners, exotic dark eyes, and statuesque elegance. When Hollywood sidelined her, she returned triumphantly to Mexican cinema, becoming an icon in her homeland. Del Rio's lasting legacy is her unwavering poise, bridging cross-cultural gaps in an era short on diversity. Maria Montez. Maria Montez, dubbed the Caribbean Cyclone, electrified 1940s audiences with Technicolor epics full of dazzling costumes and grand sets. Grandpa might have delighted in her flamboyant roles in adventures like Cobra Woman, where she wore exotic outfits and radiated fearless energy. Though critics doubted her acting range, her passionate fan base admired her glorious escapism. Montez's dramatic flair and self-assured presence offered wartime audiences a theatrical escape. Jane Wyman. Jane Wyman rose to fame tackling heartfelt dramas, winning an Oscar for Johnny Belinda. Grandpa likely warmed to her gentle, understated beauty, recognizing how she balanced vulnerability with quiet determination. She began with light comedies but proved she had the chops for deeper, emotionally challenging roles. Off-screen, her marriage to Ronald Reagan drew curiosity, though she maintained dignity post-divorce. Later, she found renewed success on TV's Falcon Crest.